Megalania, the giant lizard monster that roamed prehistoric Australia. It's been called the largest, meanest, and most ferocious lizard to ever live. But what really made this animal such a terrifying beast? Was it truly an invincible predator that hunted large animals with ease? Or was it a misunderstood reptile that was savage only out of desperation? Let's take a look at the evidence. Welcome to Paleologic, where we examine the fascinating fossils that tell the story of ancient life. Today, we're talking about one of the largest reptiles that ever existed, the Megalania. This giant lizard monster appeared during the Pleistocene epoch, which lasted from 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago. Its fossils have been found all over the continent of Australia, and it grew up to 7 meters long and weighed more than 500 kilograms. That makes it around 3 times longer than the modern Komodo dragon and about 6 times heavier. Megalania was a descendant of monitor lizards, the same group that includes today's Komodo dragons and the much smaller, much less dangerous water monitor lizards that are found throughout Australia. Based on its size, scientists think that Megalania was an ambush predator that spent most of its time lounging in the sun and waiting for prey to wander too close. Being so big would have given it a huge advantage over other Australian predators. After all, there weren't many animals around that could do more than slow it down for a bit. It was a warm-blooded animal that used the sun to regulate its body temperature. And just like today's lizards, it was probably capable of getting surprisingly speedy when it wanted to. So if something did get away from it, whether it was a fast animal or just a clever one, the chances of it escaping were slim. Megalania lived in a few different habitats, including dry forests and open grasslands, and it seemed to have preferred areas far from the coast. Today's Komodo dragons prefer remote islands where they don't have to compete with other predators, and Megalania may have done the same. Unlike its smaller relative, though, Megalania didn't need to eat meat. It was an omnivore that would have been perfectly happy munching on foliage if it could and find anything else to eat. But it also happily ate fish, birds, small mammals, and pretty much anything else that crossed its path. In fact, scientists think that the skull of Megalania was so robust that it could easily crush bone. But what exactly did it look like? Since Megalania is so closely related to modern Komodo dragons, it's safe to assume that it looked very similar. It had a long, powerful tail that it used for balance and speed, sharp claws for catching prey, and serrated teeth for shearing through flesh and crushing bone. Because it was so big, Megalania had much larger eyes than today's lizards, giving it keen eyesight for spotting prey from afar. It could see very well in the dark, too, so it could hunt at night. These features combined to make it the ultimate predator of the wild continent, one with no natural enemies. For hundreds of thousands of years, it reigned supreme. No plant or animal was safe, not even the giant kangaroos known as Diprotodon, which reached a height of up to 3 meters at the shoulder. That's about the size of a polar bear. Diprotodon was one of the last in a line of giant kangaroos that dominated Australia going back millions of years. It munched on vegetation and probably used its large size and powerful legs to stomp any predators that got too close. But despite being seemingly invincible, it wasn't a match for Megalania. Scientists think that it was too slow and clumsy to escape the giant lizard's clutches. And according to some reports, Megalania was capable of leaping 3 meters into the air and 9 meters forward, meaning it could attack Diprotodon from pretty far away. If it managed to land a bite on its prey, then it would be game over. Megalania could easily deliver a fatal bite and shake its prey before swallowing it whole. Or it could simply wait until its prey bled to death and then go in for the kill. But Megalania wasn't just hunting large mammals. It also attacked other animals that seemed pretty safe, like the massive flightless birds known as Genyornis. These ostrich-like birds grew up to 2 meters tall and weighed over 200 kilograms. They were extremely powerful and their legs left deep footprints in the mud. But Megalania probably attacked them by biting off their heads. It may have been able to catch other birds of prey, but these birds were too big for that. There are even reports that Megalania hunted crocodiles, although these accounts are often contradictory. Some say that it ate crocodiles, and others that it avoided them. Personally, I think that Megalania would have been willing to eat a crocodile if it really needed to. After all, they're not exactly the most pleasant creatures to be around. But perhaps the worst thing about Megalania was that it was either venomous or delivered deadly bacterial bites like today, as Komodo dragons. These bacteria can enter a wound and cause severe infection, leading to organ failure and death. In some cases, adult Komodo dragons have even been reported to suck the blood of their prey while they were still alive. This behavior has never been observed in the wild, but it may be a key part of their hunting strategy. Blood contains nutrients that can help speed up the healing of wounds and boost the immune system. Komodos probably use this trick to help fight off infections caused by bacteria in their mouths. If Megalania was anything like its modern counterpart, then this would have been another devastating weapon in its arsenal. The age of Megalania came to an end when modern humans arrived in Australia, around 65,000 years ago. Until then, it had faced little opposition, but clashes with humans were inevitable. As humans spread across the continent, they started hunting Megalania, and the animals fought back. It wasn't easy picking on such a large and ferocious opponent, but humans eventually learned how to fight back. They used spears and other weapons to weaken their opponents, then finished them off with rocks or fire. They also developed strategies for taking down large animals, like driving them toward bodies of water and then trapping them. When the tide went out, Megalania probably put up a good fight, but it wasn't enough. Over time, humans became more successful hunters, and Megalania had a hard time escaping them. Sometime before 20,000 years ago, it went extinct. To add insult to injury, its extinction coincided with the rise of megafauna, meaning that it was wiped outright as Australia was becoming home to some of the biggest animals in the world. What killed Megalania is unknown, but environmental shifts may have played a role. Australia's climate became drier after 130,000 years ago, causing many plants to die off. This led to widespread wildfires that destroyed entire ecosystems. Between this and human activity, Megalania lost its habitat and became even more vulnerable. One of the last blows came when Australia experienced a mega drought around 19,000 years ago. Plants died, animals migrated, and people had to move from the central regions of the continent to the wetter coastal areas. Megalania probably died out soon after. This is supported by the fossil record, which shows a sharp decline in its population after this point. The few that were still alive were picked off one by one until there were none left. Only fossil remains exist today, and they've been found in caves, old riverbeds, and dried-up lakes. Megalania was named Varanus priscus in 1839, meaning ancient lizard. And this is fitting since the animal itself is prehistoric. It's seen straight out of the age of dinosaurs rather than the late Pleistocene epoch. It had lived alongside modern humans and eventually lost out to us. Aboriginal legends tell of a giant lizard spirit, and it continues to capture our imagination today. You can see it in films, video games, and modern media. In these stories, Megalania usually represents wild power and serves as a warning of what could happen if humans upset the balance of nature. So what do you think? Was Megalania an invincible monster or a misunderstood creature? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for coming along on this journey through time. I'll see you next time.